3, 2, 1. Guys, you're never gonna believe this, but I ran out of YouTuber intros to steal. Wait, no, I didn't. Happy April Fools. Okay, now here's the real one. Haha, I got you. Nice. I got you so good. Top of the morning to you, ladies. My name is Jacksepticeye, and welcome back to Sardonicast. Oh,
whoa!
I tried.
Good one.
I feel like I was just assaulted.
My heart's racing.
The headphones.
Yeah, are you okay?
I'm fine. I drank a Red Bull too.
Pretty spot on.
Oh, perfect.
I'm not very good at pranking people, which is why my April Fool's videos are just like the same thing every year expected. Yeah. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks, by the way.
I'm Tyrone from Tyrone.com/Ralph the Movie Maker.
I'm Alex from IHE.
So it's April 1st when we're recording this. It's not going to be April 1st when you're listening to this. So happy late April Fools to all you boys.
I love April Fool's Day. And happy April Fool's Day to you too, Adam.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Everybody uploads.
My favorite holiday, yeah.
What'd you do? What'd you all do for your videos? Your April Fool's videos?
What, you're saying you didn't watch mine?
Jeez. I've watched them. I'm just trying to start conversation. Fucking hell. I can explain to you what you guys did. I just want you to talk about it. Fucking assholes. You know what? I'm leaving this podcast.
Hey, I wasn't actually being an asshole. That was a prank. It was April Fool's. Haha.
Yeah.
I'm not really an asshole. Yeah, I just I sent some money to Big Man Tyrone, got him to read some lines, and had a nice little extra cameo at the end that I threw in, because I like to change it up a little bit. My top 10 films of 1996 video, I don't think I'll ever go as hardcore as that again. That was like an actual movie. that was
wasn't H3
a lot
in
of
that one?
Effort. Yeah, him and internet comment etiquette Eric also.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Alex, you did another Let's Play, right?
Yeah, I pull out IHE Gaming that one time every year and just pop into whatever I think is, important, which I've done, Minecraft, Fortnite, all sorts.
What was the game?
It was DreamWorks Racing.
DreamWorks, hang on, it's called DreamWorks Superstars. No, it's not called that. Hang on. Right, I got the case right next to me. DreamWorks Superstar Karts by Activision. And it is as good as it sounds. It's totally not just a Mario Kart ripoff.
When I saw that in my subscription box, I was like, what the fuck is that?
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Who uploaded
that?
Yeah, I woke up surprisingly early today, so I was able to watch both of your April Fool's videos.
Oh, good.
I love how, Alex, you were trying to commit at the beginning, like, oh, this is awesome. But then eventually you were just like, I'm losing my mind. Like, you couldn't pretend anymore. You tried.
My original plan was to get every achievement in the game.
Oh,
but then
God.
I looked up how long that would take.
No.
And it would literally take like over 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I gave up pretty quick.
Ralph, you made a good review.
Thank you. I was originally going to upload Synecdoche, New York analysis part 6.
Oh, nice.
Like, since you didn't do it yet. I actually have it recorded, but I ended up going with something else. I went with the Happy Time Murders analysis.
Next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just at a random date. People are like, what the fuck is this?
It'll be like when Caden transformed genders, except I'll transform into Ralph. It'll be so
I'll
meta.
transform into a furry.
Yeah. Do you think there's some pranks that go too far?
Yeah.
I always feel like I have to tell people, like, okay, I'm not the type of person to pull an Andy Kaufman and pretend like I'm choking on my food. So if you ever see me doing that, I am having a medical emergency and I need help. I would not want to be in that position where it's like, oh, I'm a prankster and I've pretended to die once and then nobody saves me the second time.
Boy cry wolf.
Even those are harmless. I was referring to like the social experiment kind of YouTube videos.
Yeah,
like those prank videos where you're like, oh, that's just racist or like whatever the fuck they do. It's just
my biggest issue with those is that they're fake.
Yeah.
They're just like not real or lazy. And then whenever there's these few channels that are lauded as this like, oh, theirs are actually real. It's like you try to watch them and it's like Is this funny?
Yeah.
Like, wow,
Not
they
really.
created a socially awkward situation and really just hammed it up. Okay.
I like Filthy Frank's prank video where he just like goes around insulting people. Like it's not even that. He's like, "Oh, you went to liberal arts college? Fuck you! You just got pranked," and he walks away. Those are the kind of pranks I like. There's just nothing clever about it at all.
I think that the pranks that I enjoy the most just aren't on YouTube. You know, they're found in television shows like Jackass, Nathan For You,
early
Nirvana the
Jackass,
Band, the
Yeah,
show,
Nathan For You.
Ali G, you know, like Borat, all those.
Mhm.
Like, those are the best
Yeah.
pranks. They're just not on YouTube because they're better than YouTube.
Better than Joey Salads?
What?
Yeah, what?
That's just crazy
Blasphemy.
talk.
We saw a movie called Us.
Yeah, us.
Uggs.
Us.
What'd you guys think? I saw your rating.
Oh, so why are you asking? Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? I didn't see your ratings at all, so.
Okay. It was... I was really split on it at first, but the more I think about it, the more I dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of disappointed with it overall. Adam, do you want to give your sort of baseline?
Yeah, I mean, I released my quickie on it, but basically my general thoughts are that I have mixed feelings on it. There's elements that I really, really appreciate and love, and it is very confusing and understandably polarizing because this film is something that you can watch multiple times and appreciate more about it every time, but you can also hate it more every time. Like,
yeah,
it
that's
makes less
exactly it.
sense, but there's also, you know, it's filled with clever reincorporation and symbolism and, you know, all that fun stuff that's fun to find in movies. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of shot itself in the foot by trying to offer literal explanations. I guess we'll do a spoiler warning, not now, but whenever we get into the spoiler talk.
I just thought it was a very lame horror movie. I think this one was trying to be more of a horror film than Get Out, which is more of a comedy.
Yeah.
And the scares for this didn't really work for me at all. The comedy didn't really work for me.
Mhm.
And it wasn't
Yeah,
as
same.
organic as it was in Get Out. The comedic relief in this just didn't work as well. And it wasn't as... Like, you had that airport security guy in Get Out, and he was separate from what was going on.
It was a break.
Yeah.
It was actual comedic
Yeah.
relief.
It was actual comedic relief, but he wasn't in the action, so he
Yeah.
wasn't acting weird. It wasn't like he was trying to be funny in this horrible situation. And here, they're getting attacked by these people, and the dad's still cracking jokes, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it deflates the tension way too much. It robbed any like potentially scary moment of its kind of weight, which really bugged me every time they did it.
I think it really depends because there's some movies that actually do pull that off.
Yeah.
There's some movies that can do horror and comedy, but the horror is just so well done that it's like, okay, even though there was just comedy, it's still effective. Like you could make that argument for even like Evil Dead 2 or something. You know, like there's crazy, like weird and scary, visually interesting things happening. Not to say that there isn't anything remotely scary in Us, or, you know, there's lots of visually interesting shots for sure. But I just it kind of felt like almost in the same vein as The Strangers for me, when it's very difficult for me to watch these characters just getting chased around by other characters and still feel scared at all.
Yeah, it's repetitive.
The most scared I got was when one of the characters started speaking, which I'm sure you know what moment I'm talking about. You know, like that was well done, but that was more to do with like performance than anything, which Lupita Nyong'o was amazing. I thought she was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But a lot of the acting I thought was pretty weak. Like, I thought the youngest, the boy in their family, was not very convincing at all.
I don't agree.
I thought you read the line.
Well,
I thought that he was fine.
I didn't think it was really bad. Yeah.
he just didn't seem... His sister was, like, very good. She seemed terrified the entire time, and he was just kind of like, I don't know. He wasn't crying.
I don't know,
wasn't...
but it also, I mean, I'm willing to give some leeway because the film said he's like autistic or something, right? Like he's not going to react to everything in the exact same way that every other character is.
Yeah. All right. Well,
not to say
I don't know.
that's like an excuse,
I didn't buy
but
it.
I mean, I didn't feel that way. So
I also didn't like the other family, Tim Heidecker's and Elizabeth Moss's family.
it was a weird choice.
I thought they were kind of underwritten, and
That's when it kind
boring.
of really ground down to a halt for me and really sagged, and I was starting to get really uninterested because, like,
Yeah.
you just don't have any investment in them. And by then, the surprise and mystery of where the horror is going to come from isn't really scary anymore. It doesn't elevate beyond that first scene where there's the confrontation. So
Yeah.
I was really starting to wander off and check my watch a few times in the middle there. I found when it was being mysterious, it was a lot more interesting. So kind of the first and last acts, but in the middle, it's just a really repetitive kind of home invasion affair that felt really familiar.
A lot of the movies just them running around this neighborhood. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
there's a big chunk of that for
entertaining.
sure, and I was definitely the most bored during that part because nothing new was being
Mm-hmm.
revealed or developed. It was just like, oh, you're supposed to be scared because these other characters are chasing them, and it didn't do it effectively enough for me. Whereas in Get Out, I would say that the horror was more effective in Get Out because I'm a big fan of psychological horror, particularly, and I feel like that was done really, really well, and especially the scenes inside his head, like those were all so
when he was getting
bizarre
hypnotized.
and out there. Like when you're showing me something that is so removed from reality and it's well shot and creative, like I feel like that's a great opportunity to make me scared. At least it depends on the person, but
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
How did you guys feel about you mentioned I don't really want to go into spoilers, but you mentioned
we can do that at any point, honestly. Like we don't have to talk about this for super long.
because some of my biggest issues are spoilers. So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to do
Well,
that?
just one more non-spoiler thing.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
go
But
on.
one more non-spoiler thing. I really did not like the music, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the score.
Yeah, no,
for this
I
film.
thought of you, Ralph, when I was hearing those strings going up.
The strings. Well, they have the violin, like the crescendoing violin,
Yeah,
but they also just have lots of just like dun 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 dun. Most of the score is plucking violins, and it's so obnoxious and cliche.
Yeah, it is turning
I
into a
fucking
little bit of a
hated it.
cliche. I don't think it's like so.
It's
if
totally.
there's ways that it could have been written, I guess that would have been less
It's just
cliche,
not
but I don't think
scary.
it's so far gone at this point. But I can
Yeah,
see
I was so
that it is
invested
kind
in
of
the-
becoming a cliche, though.
I would have loved just like a really weird score.
I really liked a lot of the music, but about half of it I felt was inappropriate for the scene or just over-present, shouldn't have been there, kind of took away from it. Especially when they used the song that worked really, really well in the trailer, but then decided to do it at a pivotal moment in the film that just felt really inappropriate.
Is
Yeah,
it the
I
fight
agree
at
with
the
that.
end?
Spoiler territory!
Yeah.
I was trying to be subtle.
Spoilers. I guess it's a good segue.
Yeah, I don't think that's spoilery enough that you ruined it for anybody. Oh, there's a fight.
Yeah, a fight at the end. Yeah. But that's what you're referring to,
yeah.
right? Is that point? Because I thought that was very silly as well, and it kind of had like a dubstep. I don't know if it was a dubstep note, but it kind of like it had this bassy electronic.
yeah.
I know what you
I was like,
mean.
ugh.
It's
I was
I wouldn't
like,
call
what
it
was
dubstep,
that?
but it was
No, it's not
definitely
dubstep.
like
But like the bass dropped.
yeah, it was kind of riding on the line between like emotionally effective and then trying to be cool at the same time. And I just
Yeah,
it
was
worked
very
really well
weird.
for the trailer, for sure. Like the trailer that was awesome, but just it was
But that's what it
inappropriate
felt
in
like.
that
It
scene.
felt like a trailer song that they
It
added in the
was
movie.
like basically.
It just didn't fit, but it didn't
Yeah.
fit the movie. Like songs like that, just whatever. I didn't like the score.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed the movie much more than you guys did, but I do have a lot of criticisms. Like I said,
really
it's-
wanted to. I really wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah,
more.
I
everybody
really wanted
wanted
to,
to.
too.
Like this is
Yeah.
the most like everybody wants to enjoy it kind of movie. Well, for the most part.
I was
Not
just so
everybody, but-
disappointed, especially after Get Out, because I think Get Out is a really well-made horror film
Yeah, it's solid.
and comedy.
Yeah.
And this is like so. It felt so rushed. This felt so rushed. Yeah, I think he was kind of rushed into finishing the script because not all of it lines up, and the exposition at the end where they try to explain what the fuck these things are was so dumb.
Yeah,
and
I think
rushed.
that the exposition in general kind of doesn't help the tone, or doesn't help
Yeah.
the
Heavy
story.
handed, yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
a total lack of subtlety.
Are we in
almost
spoiler territory
everything.
now?
Like,
by the way,
yeah, I think
okay,
so.
spoiler territory,
Yeah.
everybody, for sure, 100%. Go on.
Like her father being an alcoholic, and like so Lupita doesn't drink alcohol, and she's always like, yeah, I'm drinking water, I got my bottle of water here, I don't drink. She has like 20 lines of that, and it's so like, okay, I get it, holy fuck. Everything in the movie is like that.
I wouldn't say everything, but I mean, like, there is kind of like a purpose towards things being repeated, right? Like, that's kind of in line with the themes, I guess, you know?
Yeah, well, which things?
Well, I mean, like, the idea of people themselves being repeated because there's duplicate copies of them, you know? Like, there's a lot of really fun little details in the movie of just like, oh, that connects here and that connects here, and not all of them are super significant in any way, but it's nice to see like, oh yeah, you know, the little kid with the ambulance that he used to block the door, and then they leave in the ambulance at the end, so it's like, oh, that was their escape sort of thing. Like, there's so much cool stuff like that, and I really love that. I just wish that the film at its core had more of a point and was scarier and more entertaining, because there were some parts where I was legitimately just bored. Like, this is a movie where I for sure am just more entertained by the discussion of the film, and I want to look up more articles. I want to read more Reddit comments. Like, that's super fun to me, but I'm never going to see the movie again.
I'm exactly there with you. How did you guys feel about the twist reveal at the end?
It was dumb.
I guessed it from 8 minutes in.
Yeah, it's the most predictable
I guessed it from the trailer.
Every clone-based or like they all do it. Yeah, exactly. And there's no mystery to any of it. It's bizarre.
I literally just expected it from the trailer and knowing the concept. Or like, okay, well, if you're going to have a horror movie and people are clones of each other, then there has to be some sort of twist where you think it's the main character or, you know, one of the main characters, and then it turns out to be one of the bad ones, right? And I was expecting that, but as the movie went along, I was like, okay, no, they couldn't possibly do it now because that would be too stupid, and then they did it.
Yeah.
Like, once they explained everything,
it didn't really make sense.
It didn't make any sense.
The setup of the world is kind of shoddily put together in terms of like the film opens with the description of there being tunnels under America, and then it's not relevant until the very end of the movie. So the whole time you're like waiting for these tunnel things to be explained or come into play, and it's just it just doesn't mesh well together. By the end, it doesn't feel like a payoff. It just feels like they needed to explain something when there are other ways around it.
I would have rather had just the title and then no explanation from the characters.
Yeah.
When you have a film where it's begging you to look at every single detail anyway, I feel like the more subtle you can be, the better it will come across, especially if it's like a horror kind of movie. The more they explain, the more it kind of fell apart.
They should have revealed the twist earlier, and it should have been part of the plot, because I think having, like, the idea of their mother is part of, or one of these clone kind of people, and they have to deal with that, is more interesting than just revealing it at the end.
Yeah.
And it's predictable anyway, so you should have just revealed it earlier. Maybe at the midpoint or the first act, like around there.
It felt like the idea of having a twist at the end like that was at the expense of the rest of the film, in a way. Because now you look at
it's like the rest of the movie is so much boring shit that they could have just put this kind of plot element in there and filled up those spots, and it would have been way better.
Well, because now when you look at the conversation on the couch when these things break into their home, it's like, okay, the original woman, why didn't she say anything about that? Like, why is she being cryptic, explaining things that the other character already knows? Like, it just makes less and less sense because of that twist, and it's like, why? Why'd you do that?
Did you find that the doppelgangers and the way they speak, you mentioned liking kind of the main one, but I had issues with the kind of the way they screamed at each other, like on the boat scene and communicated. I thought that was too far and a bit too comedic for me. It was odd. It didn't really work for me.
No, yeah, I mean, like, I didn't find them scary at any point, but I think the point was that, like, she was the only one that knew English because she was the original thing, and then none of the other things down there knew English. So she was the only one that could
I understood
speak,
that.
I guess,
it was more just the actual sound they choose to communicate with, these, like, grunts goofy. And things. Yeah. They did come across as goofy to me.
It was for sure goofy. And then you have to think, like, okay, well, how did this, like, 6-year-old girl's vocabulary get so much better than a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
You know, if she had no one else to talk to and no information of any language down there.
You're not supposed to think about it too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie has the context and the logic. It's an allegory, I guess. It's like a political allegory for...
That's what I want.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, sure.
That's what I want, but then they explain so much that you have to think about it in that way.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
But it just straight up makes no sense, though, in many ways. Like, the reveal at the end is just so stupid. And for a film that's asking you to analyze every frame of it, it's like, you can't pick and choose when you want the audience to turn your brain off and turn it on again. It's so much to ask of the audience to just accept that's the case.
Yeah.
They're saying it, so that's just what happened, I guess. Just believe it.
Yeah, if it were more subtle, then I wouldn't give a shit about anything not making sense. Because it would be so clear that it was just like, okay, this is all metaphorical. But as soon as they have characters being like, this is how everything works down here, and there were scientists that kidnapped him, blah, 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 and, then you're forced to think about it in that way, and it doesn't help the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I still enjoyed it overall, just more thinking about it than the actual experience itself. I still like it.
I can't say I liked it. I think it was a slightly better Blumhouse horror film. But nothing about the execution of it was interesting or scary to me, or funny. I hope his next movie's better than this. And I'm kind of worried about his Twilight Zone adaptation, because he's working on that, right? He's like a producer on it.
Yeah. I know he does the voiceover for it, but...
I don't know. He's doing stuff with it. I think he's directing a few episodes.
I just hope whatever he does next, he puts more effort into it, because this felt rushed and uninspired and boring.
I don't feel like there wasn't a lot of effort put into it. I think there was a ton of effort put into it. It was just like misguided in a way. I don't know if I would
there
say
was
rushed.
Something there. I think it was a good premise, and I think he was passionate about it. But in terms of writing an actual story that made sense or that was interesting, there was nothing there for me. Most of the movie was them running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't decide what it wants to prioritize, so it ends up being a bit of a comedy, but that doesn't really land. And it's a bit of a horror movie at the beginning, but then it stops being scary because it's so repetitive. And it's a bit of a mystery, but the whole middle of the movie is just the same scene over and over. Yeah, it's just a very strange, confused movie overall.
Yeah. The Get Out had very clear points of comedy and horror. Like, I was never confused as to what I was supposed to be feeling. And this was like you said, their shout was goofy, so some people were laughing in the theater, but some people thought it was scary. It was a very odd vibe, like, watching it with an audience. Because half of them liked it, I think, and then half of them really weren't digging it. They weren't laughing or clapping or anything. So it was interesting.
Do Americans clap during movies to show that they like it?
Yeah,
there was a lot of applause breaks during it. Like, whenever like they killed... Yeah. Like when Lupita killed her, like, enemy.
I've only
like
ever seen
Marvel
that a couple
movies,
times, and they've been during, like, Marvel movies. It was, like, fan
That probably ruined my experience, too. It's like, how can I get scared when there's, like, people in the audience clapping and cheering? It's like, what the fuck? This is a horror movie. These are characters in a movie. Why are you cheering? Just shut up and enjoy it.
Who are they clapping for? Like, the people who made the movie aren't there. They don't know that the clapping's happening.
They're just really happy this family made it out of that situation, you know? This fictional family. Movie sucked.
No,
it didn't suck.
I don't think
it's two. I gave it a 2 out of 5. It's got some redeeming stuff, but I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it.
Yeah, I mean, most people seem to be enjoying it overall.
Yeah, sure.
Seem to be, at least.
I'm happy they are. Genuinely happy. But like, if someone were to ask me, would I recommend it? I'd say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave the film a 2.5 star, so slightly above Ralph, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more I do dislike it. If I don't want to watch the film again, then, I mean, it couldn't have been that much of an entertaining experience in the first place, so yeah, I was quite disappointed overall. I stayed away from trailers and everything, because I'm doing that now for films like this, because horror movies especially are notorious for their trailers that spoil everything.
Yeah.
So I knew absolutely nothing going in.
I stayed away from the marketing, but like, they had these ads I saw that said it was the greatest horror film of all time. I think that's a little ridiculous.
It is.
To be suggesting that Us is the greatest horror film of all time, because it definitely isn't.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad people are enjoying it, because it's certainly better than a lot of the horror schlock that comes out. It's much better made, for sure. It's just the story and the tone especially that I had issues with, because there are really great ideas there, and he's got loads of room to grow, so much potential still, and I'm sure we will see more because people love these movies. They do really well, and I can see what there is to like about it, but it just bugged me too much because it's so stupid at times. Which is like that.
Yeah.
If a horror movie just becomes so ludicrous that you can't take it seriously anymore, then it's just ruined the whole point of the film.
Yeah. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Pretty much described how I feel about it. Not a great experience, but there's a lot to appreciate about it. There's a lot that I like about it on paper.
It felt to me like it was sort of trying to do what Under the Silver Lake did really well. I thought that was in terms of like comparisons, the weird kind of mystery aspect was revealed a lot better, and the scares were better. I think if you want a film sort of like this, I'd recommend that one over it in every way.
It's a weird comparison, but yeah, Under the Silver Lake has some really disturbing shit in it.
And there's just something about the thing about the way people are kind of reading into every frame of Us, and there's so many like hidden secrets, but it completely contradicts or goes against the ridiculousness and nonsensical journey the plot goes down. Whereas I think Under the Silver Lake is creepier and is more consistent, and the reveals are better. And I just really like that movie and would recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great movie. We never really talked
totally
about
agree.
it, even though all of us have seen it. It's kind of late.
Well, why don't we talk
been a
about
while.
it quick,
Yeah,
then?
we could talk
Yeah,
about
I
it.
saw
real
it really late.
It's better than Us.
Yeah, it's
People don't really like it, do they?
Yeah, I was about to say
Under the
like
Silver Lake?
the exact same
Yeah.
things you're saying about Us and you're praising about Under the Silver Lake. There's tons of people that would say the exact opposite. Like there's tons of critics that hate Under the Silver Lake, including like Mark Kermode made a video about how much he hates it, Like
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. It
I
did
missed that
not
one,
do
but-
well with critics at all, whereas Us is like, 99 on Rotten Tomatoes or something? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it just shows you how boring critics are.
yeah.
So, yeah,
You
they like
bore
that
me.
boring normie Us movie. But Under the Silver Lake is fantastic in so many ways.
Mhm.
Like Andrew Garfield, who I hate, is great in it,
Yeah, me
first of
too.
all.
Yeah.
So I'll give him credit for that. This is made by the guy who made It Follows.
Yeah.
And it's such a different movie than It Follows. I respect that 100%. It's like a comedy, basically.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long. There's so much shit going on. There's like 80 characters. It makes no sense, and I love it.
Is it 2.5 hours long? never
It
fucking
feels like it
feels-
is, isn't it?
What?
It's about 2 hours 20.
Yeah, I was about to.
2 hours
Oh,
and 20.
Wow.
So
Because
close
it
to
Yeah,
that.
feels
that's
like an
close.
hour and a half for me. Like it's just so much fun. One of my favorite aspects
it
about
goes
the
by
movie
so
is
quick.
like every location, every set is just so radically different, and there's so much to soak in about it. Like every single place.
Yeah.
And it's always
so
moving.
varied.
Like
There's a lot
it
of
never
detail.
lingers. The only recurring place is like his apartment or whatever. But every time one of those scenes happening, there's new information being presented. Like it doesn't drag on. It doesn't feel like stale or repetitive, really. It's a lot of fun. I have so much fun watching
Yeah.
that movie. It's got a
I
great
really like
energy
the score
to it.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tone is amazing. It's got like a really great atmosphere. Like this kind of weird, creepy, kind of funny, sleazy thing going on. There's so many questions by the end of it.
Noirish.
Yeah, I was
kind
about
of.
to say.
The
Yeah, yeah.
score is great. The score is the guy who did It Follows also. And it has
Disaster
like that
piece, yeah.
noirish kind of, classic feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Don't really want to like spoil too much about the movie, even though I don't know how much you could possibly spoil, but there are
It's
some
so,
very
like,
satisfying
elaborate.
scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we could say about it, other than just we all recommend it.
Yeah, we all
For sure,
recommend
yeah.
it. It's hard to follow. I compare it to like Big Lebowski or something like that, where
Mhm.
the plot itself isn't really the point. It's more
Yeah.
about watching this character going on this confused journey, just trying to find this girl. And that's resolved, at least. Everything else isn't.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of weird characters who show up that disappear, and you're like, what the fuck? Who was that?
Yeah, but it's also kind of the
But-
point. Like it's
Yeah,
very
exactly.
meta.
It's totally the point. And it plays it up for comedy. And it's accurate to how LA is.
Yeah, it's
And I give it
about
credit for that,
Hollywood.
too.
It's about movies. It's about audience members.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
funny.
about everyone in the entertainment industry, the actresses and the actors and the
Yeah.
writers.
yeah,
How they're all like prostituting themselves and have horrible lives.
yeah.
Mhm.
It actually has a lot to say, even though it I can see a lot of people watching it and thinking it doesn't. Because there are
It does.
lots of loose ends, but there's a lot to read in from the movie that I think is very intentional as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, a big part of the movie is that kind of Illuminati conspiracy-like thing where all these billboards and cereal boxes have these hidden messages made for the elite. And the movie plays with that idea in so many fun ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there's very few movies that tackle that subject matter. So it was cool to see.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times.
Wow.
At 3 different film festivals. Just so happened to line up.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah, I saw it at Cannes. Was my first
And it still
watch.
hasn't been released theatrically, right? Because they're re-editing it to make it more accessible.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Really?
That was
It is?
fucking
Okay.
speculation. It was so weird because
Sure, tell me the truth then. Tell me the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it premiered at Cannes. It didn't have great critical reviews, and then A24 delayed the release date in the States. They were going to push for initially before the Oscars kind of end of the year thing, and then it's like, oh no, it's pushed to March, and then it's pushed again. The first time they delayed the release date, there were like 10 different articles online being like, could this be because there was poor critical reception and they're re-editing the film? But if you look into it, there's literally nothing that supports this. And so by the time it was supposed to have been re-edited, I saw it at Fantasia Fest and I was like, okay, that was the same movie. And then later I saw it at Vancouver Film Fest. I was like, that's the same movie. So I don't think it's been re-edited at all.
Good.
Yeah, it was just a
so
lot
I'm
of
happy about that.
speculation for no reason. Just people making shit up to get internet clicks. Speaking of internet clicks, the trailer for Toy Story 4 has like 30 million views or some shit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Here, I'll double check.
Great. Deserved then. We all love Toy Story 4, how it's looking, right? Right?
No.
Nope. The animation is pretty impressive nowadays. I mean, they look like real plastic toys. The lighting effects
They did
are
in the
very
first
good.
one. The
It's still the animation's noticeably better.
Oh, well,
but
of course
point
it is.
Nothing else matters about this movie.
Yeah.
That's the only valid thing I could say about it, or the only thing worth note
Yeah.
about that trailer.
It's really
Yeah.
it looks like they're just doing the same thing again.
Yeah, it just looks
Really?
like a repeat of the first few.
A like
Little
neurotic
bits of all of
fork. That's the new Toy Story 4.
That's them pretending it's a different movie.
And don't forget Key and Peele are in it.
Yeah.
They'll sell quite a few toys, right? Everyone's going to want that bear.
Yeah.
No, a rabbit, isn't it? Rabbit and a bird, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah, why?
Money.
Well, I know why, but
You can sell
I know why,
toys.
but it's like such a contrast with their old philosophy, where they'd always talk
is.
about how, with Toy Story 2, they really fought against making a sequel for ages, and they made sure they were doing it right and something fresh, and spawned off an idea, but they're just not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
They stopped
now
years
they have
ago.
Woody with a plastic spork going around doing the same shit again. They're out on a road trip, right?
Yeah.
Trying to find something. Oh no, Woody's trying to find the spork so they could get back to the kid.
Yeah.
It's some shit like that. It's
All
it's
of
Toy
those
Story
sequels.
again.
Exactly. It's just,
Instead of
We've
Buzz,
seen this.
it's fucking a fork.
Yeah. No, but all of their sequels since, I think it was Monsters University, right? That's when they started doing this kind of thing, wasn't it? Around about then.
Was it Cars 2 before?
I don't know.
It's
I
hard
mean,
to
Cars
know when
2 was
Pixar fell off.
Clearly for money.
Yeah.
Cars 2 was what?
No,
2010
actually,
or
John
something?
Lasseter loved Cars. That
Yeah,
was
that
like
was
his
his
favorite
passion
brand.
project.
That's what he says.
Sure.
He loves those car movies.
Ka-chow. More like
Ka-chow.
ka-ching. Ouch.
They do. They make so much money though. I was gonna say they feel all of these sequels feel like. You remember in the 90s, early 2000s, they'd release the straight to DVD versions of like sequels to Aladdin and
Yeah.
The Lion King and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
The Lion King 2
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, with way bigger budgets. That's exactly how they feel. Like the effort with the actual like creativity and writing.
Now
The
they've
writing
figured out
level's the
marketing,
same.
right?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like it's a well-oiled machine. They can sell anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They can
No,
create
like
hype.
Finding Dory and Monsters University and
Finding
they're
Dory
just- and Incredibles 2. And they're all just like, yeah, they got nothing to say. We're not seeing anything new from them anymore.
Yeah, even the ones that are slightly better aren't good. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what's a sequel that was like okay.
Well, I loved Toy Story 2. I thought
Pixar
that was a
one.
great sequel.
Yeah, Toy Story 2 and 3 I think are pretty good.
I don't think.
Well, they
3
just
is good.
didn't do them for ages, did they?
Yeah. Is that it though?
They're trying to tug on heartstrings.
Yeah,
Incredibles
isn't
2
it just
was
Toy Story
great.
and Cars?
No, it wasn't. As a fan of the first Incredibles, Incredibles 2 sucks. And that's what this one looks like. It looks like that again.
They need to make Bow
Just completely
2.
pointless.
Brave
get it.
2,
Give it 10
Ratatouille
years.
2,
They should just call it Ratatouille with a number 2.
Up
Yeah, that one's written
prequel.
for them.
We'll get an Up prequel about his wife and him, like
Oh.
going
Oh,
to
yeah.
some country, like some exotic jungle.
We should get a Good Dinosaur 2.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Yeah,
Ah,
Good Dinosaur
everyone's
2,
favorite.
Inside Out 2.
Luxo Jr. 2.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna do it all.
Yikes.
Make your money. Make your money, Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cash out.
it's I just they don't make good movies anymore.
No, they don't. This is the last straw for me.
Now we're serious. I'm
Yeah.
boycotting Pixar. I don't know if I'm going to see Toy
Well,
Story 4 or
it's
not.
abundantly clear now they don't give a fuck about making original good movies anymore. They're just doing whatever Disney tells them.
Mhm.
And it's never been more transparent, I think. And that's what this trailer is to me. So I have no interest in seeing it.
Speaking of
But
Disney,
we all will.
the acquisition is in effect of Fox.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to redo all the X-Men movies again. They're going to make another Wolverine with somebody else. They haven't said any of this. I just know they're going to do it at some point.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
Why else
As
would
soon
they
as
buy
I don't know
Fox?
what
It's
they're going
very-
to do with...
No, it's convenient
Right.
for them, isn't it? Because the contracts are up with all their big main characters from current Marvel, right? With the
Yeah.
Avengers that's coming out, so
Mhm.
we'll probably lose some characters there. And now they can phase in the X-Men, who everyone knows and likes already. So it's like a win-win
Yeah.
for them.
We'll finally get a
It's perfect.
PG Deadpool.
Yes.
It could
So
happen.
we did
all
get that,
needed.
didn't we? I thought
Well,
we
I
got
mean, that was the-
Christmas like cut.
That re-edit or whatever. That's so stupid. I can't believe that happened.
So dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
Uh,
it really begs the question of like, okay, Deadpool was a super successful film. So are they going to look at that and be like, okay, let's continue doing that? Or are they going to pull a Disney and just be like, okay, now we got to make it like every other movie in the Marvel franchise. It's got to be PG-13
Yeah.
maximum.
They probably just won't make another Deadpool. I don't see them making a PG Deadpool or a PG-13 Deadpool.
they're such money makers, though.
Yeah,
telling me
I
they're
don't
not gonna
know.
make
But
another
I
one?
feel like the audience would be pissed because that kind of defeats the purpose of the movie.
If they make a
Deadpool.
rated R Deadpool and it's
I
just
mean,
the
I guess
same
most people don't care.
stuff, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could happen.
They have that Dark Phoenix movie, which is apparently awful, and they're stuck with it. They don't know what to do with it. They're thinking of releasing it, but it's so bad, and now
It looks
Disney
bad.
owns it. So
The
they're
trailer
thinking,
looks really
yeah, they're thinking
goofy.
of just not even putting it out.
They're like
But
ashamed of
they
it,
have
and you
to.
can tell. I only found out
Mhm.
about it the other day when I went to see Us, because there was a trailer before, and I was like, "What? This film exists?" So it looks like it was made out of clips from the old X-Men movies, like edited together into a fake
Yeah.
like, trailer.
They have that New Mutants movie too.
Yeah, like the
And
horror
I
one.
haven't heard anything about that.
That was
Yeah.
delayed.
That was
Yeah.
supposed to come out like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, no, it was.
Ugh.
What do you guys have you guys seen the trailer for Brightburn?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It looks like an
The
interesting
James
concept
Gunn
for a horror movie.
produced like parody of like Superman kind of thing. What if he came down and he was
A
like
dick.
a crazy person? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
yeah, it's
Cool.
like you take the Superman origin story of like, oh yeah, this little boy shot down from the sky and he's got superpowers, but instead of helping people, he wants to just murder everybody. But it looks like an actual horror movie. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be really funny or anything. It looks like an actual horror
Yeah.
movie.
Okay.
It seems like an interesting
has
concept.
potential.
It's not directed by James
No.
Gunn, but
He's just a producer.
writers Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn.
Got
What
lots of
the-
brothers, I
Brothers?
guess.
I
Dad?
guess so.
Dad.
Loads
brother?
of dads. I don't know.
Yeah, his two dads.
Yeah, his two dads. They wrote a movie. And
Okay.
Are you guys excited for Disney's ever-growing monopoly on the films industry? You excited about that?
I can't
Does that
wait
make
for them
you
to
smile?
own
Yeah.
everything.
Because I
It's
feel like it's
looking that
going to
way.
crash at some point.
You say
Who is there
that.
even
That's
left
what
to
I'm looking
buy?
forward to. I feel like it has to. It's just the cycle of things. Everything has a rise and a fall.
Not Disney.
Hopefully the fall is in my lifetime.
I just
Disney had a
don't
few
see
years they
how.
were doing really bad, but they got new management.
Oh, really?
And now they're doing great, obviously.
When was that?
Yeah. Funny enough, I forgot. It was like the 90s,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was when they were doing all
one
the
of the
2D
complaints was that
animation films,
the Disney brand was tarnished as like a kind of a money-grubbing company.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people kind of saw them as. And then they changed that over the 2000s, and now we're back to that again.
Nice.
So,
But they own
Yeah.
so many franchises now, and people, they like Marvel currently, they hate Star Wars currently, and they love the 3D movies and Pixar and all that currently. So if one of them is not being liked at the time, and the other ones will prop it up basically. So I don't think
yeah.
most people hate Disney in the same way, a
Mhm.
lot of other people do. They just kind of see, oh, there's a new Toy Story. I loved that in the 90s when I was growing up.
Nostalgia.
Let's go see another one.
Yeah, most
'cause it
families
works.
don't care.
I was a child.
Yeah, and it'll be the same movie, and everyone will clap, and they'll cry, and everyone will be happy, and then they'll make...
Oh my
Russ
god, did you
2
see Toy Story 4? It was so sad. I was crying in the theater.
Did you see that
Shut up.
that tweet I made of the quote from the trivia on Toy Story 4 IMDb?
No.
No.
No? Okay, I'll find it really quick and I'll share it with you guys. I just gotta scroll past all the billion digital copies that I tweeted out here. Here it is. Toy Story 4 trivia. And this I found this because somebody mentioned it in a Reddit comment for the Toy Story 4 trailer being released, and people are obviously like weirdly hyped for it. Trivia. In November 2018, Tom Hanks claimed that the ending was emotional and a moment in history. He also added that he couldn't face the crew while recording his final lines because he got emotional with them. This came around 6 weeks after co-star Tim Allen said that he couldn't get through the last few scenes because of how emotional they were. Come on.
Get the fuck out of here.
Use the word emotional 3 times.
You're an actor. He doesn't give a shit.
Everyone goes in wanting to cry anyway, so
Yeah.
now they just know.
This is
to
going to be
expect
the son of Saul of Toy Story films.
Yeah, it's gonna be an emotional powerhouse.
Yeah.
It's gonna get nominated for Best Picture. Not even Best Animated Film. Best Picture.
Yeah, it's probably going to win Oscar, so...
Yeah, Disney will buy that award too.
Yeah. Woody's getting sent to Auschwitz.
Oh, no.
That's how to make a sad movie, though.
Yeah.
Did you guys want to start the Dark Crystal discussion?
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, so let's move on to the movie I picked last week, The Dark Crystal. So if you don't want the film spoiled, pause it for later, go watch the movie, come back, or just, be wary that we're talking about spoilers and we'll be ruining it, even though...
I don't know if you can really spoil this movie, honestly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. The film's The Dark Crystal from 1982, directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz. It's a story about a gelfling who goes on a special mission with a MacGuffin to create the ultimate MacGuffin and save the world, and it's, a fantasy movie. But the real hook is the production and the special effects and the puppets. If it's a Jim Henson movie, you expect puppets. And this film is very well known for its very impressive, very advanced, especially for the time, use of the elaborate puppets, which are easily the best thing about the movie. I haven't seen the film for a very long time. God, it must have been, I think I had it on DVD, so whenever the DVD came out for it is when I saw it. So it was interesting going back now, because it was a big movie in my childhood, and seeing what I like and what I don't like. And very torn in the end. It has some pretty glaring issues to me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
But also a lot of really great stuff. So,
Yeah.
what'd you guys think of it, though?
Yeah.
Are we all positive on it?
I'm mostly positive. There's a lot that I really like about it, but it does have some gigantic issues also.
Yeah.
I can totally understand why it's a cult movie. I can totally understand why it has like a 4K Blu-ray now, which I watched and it looked pretty cool.
It deserves.
Yeah. I could watch this again. I could see myself coming back to it and watching it for sure.
Yeah, just for the visuals of it, there's no denying, like, the puppet work is just amazing. Not just the puppet work, the set design and the miniatures and everything. Like, the whole world felt so real. And the villains, which were my favorite part of the movie, they had so much personality. Yeah, that's what they were called. They had the one who went, it was funny every time he did it.
You thought that was funny? I thought that guy, he's been in my nightmares for years. I'm so scared of that guy.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. I just loved how much, like, joy he took in, like, being an asshole.
What about when he's like, all his clothes are torn off and you see his disgusting spindly body underneath those robes?
That was the thing too.
The gang rape scene.
Yeah, no, it's really odd.
He was like a sympathetic villain. Yeah, he was humiliated in front of all of his friends, and so he has to go out on this quest to, like, find this guy and bring him back. It was a very good motivation. He was almost, like, pathetic, the villain. It reminded
he was way
me
more
of,
interesting than the other.
Yeah, it was very interesting. He was kind of like Zuko in Last Airbender, or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of characters in this movie that are, like, just archetypes. And so there's a lot of comparisons to be drawn, like Star Wars, and, like, the main character is very similar to Luke Skywalker, and there's, like, the bar scene, which is very similar to the cantina.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly inspired by high fantasy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It really delves deep into, like, long establishing shots where they're showing, like, all the creatures and monsters and stuff and the wildlife. And that's the most entertaining thing about the movie. Like, the film almost knows that the story is largely kind of uninteresting because it does one of my pet peeves of having, like, a prophecy. I find that so... I don't know, it robs, like, the tension away from anything when you know the result of it, unless there's some kind of reveal, like the Lego movies, a good example of that. Where
and that's also parody at that point, too.
Exactly, yeah. Like, this felt like the movies that Phil Lord and Miller are making fun of now.
Yes.
They're making fun of the tropes that this film embodied, but...
Because there was so many movies in this generation, too.
Exactly, yeah. But I think even at the time, this one was kind of, familiar territory even then. I was reading some of the reviews from back then, and people were saying it's kind of standard fairy tale-esque fantasy affair, and it is the weakest part of the movie because it what it means is it falls back on the strength of the characters, but then the characters, they're not great. They're pretty simple. The whole film's exceptionally simple. Mm-hmm. So
they're archetypes, and it's a classic hero's journey story. There's nothing about the story itself that's interesting. It's just the execution of it.
If we had a more interesting main character, I think the film would have been dramatically improved. I fucking hate Jen. I hate Jen's face. I hate Jen's
Well, he doesn't
voice.
do anything for most of the movie.
I hate Jen's name. I hate everything about Jen. And also...
He's just the fish out of water character, isn't he? He's always just like, what's that? This is crazy, man.
His intro is him playing the flute naked.
His voice acting sucks.
It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
It's really, like, corny. It made me think of, like, 60s corny kind of fantasy stuff more than, like, an 80s movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was supposed to...
The main character is the worst
it wasn't
part.
That bad, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, here's one of my big issues with it. Like, you can look at Jim Henson's entire catalog of all the puppets he's ever used, or even just within this film itself. Jen is by far the least expressive puppet in terms of facial expressions.
Got dead eyes.
It's just the same face the entire movie. And that could be alleviated with an amazing voice acting performance, but instead we get bullshit. It was a terrible voice for the character, and the puppet just looked like shit. It looked uninteresting, and it didn't express itself.
There's a lot of ADR too. Like, there was a lot of points where you could see his lips weren't moving, like the puppet lips, I guess, weren't moving.
Yeah.
And he was saying lines. From what I heard, there was a lot of ADR added after test screenings because audiences didn't like the movie. They thought it was too quiet.
That's one thing I love about the movie. It is, I can't believe it exists. Like, this and who it's marketed for, I think it's supposed to be like a kids movie. I don't know. It's like
so dark.
It's really dark. You've got stealing essence. You got stabbing people. You got creepy monsters.
That thing you had in your childhood trauma video in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
that fucking scene is horrific.
Sucking the soul out of him. You missed the most important and interesting part about this whole ADR thing. So I watched through the special features on the 4K Blu-ray, and they actually included a lot of the original footage, some of the original scenes before they added ADR. What wound up happening was Jim Henson and Frank Oz somehow thought it would be a good idea if 90% of the movie was just gibberish. So like the only characters that were actually speaking English were like the main character and his female love interest.
Oh yeah.
And everybody else was just speaking this made up like gooble gop blah blah. And you can see some of these scenes and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. No. Like all of the villains are just doing that, and they thought it was a good idea. They showed it to a test audience at a test screening, and people were like, "I'm confused. What's happening? Why are they hitting a rock? Why are they doing this?" Like, there's so much about it that just doesn't make any sense if you don't have dialogue. And so they dubbed over the entire movie with newly written dialogue that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, because the people operating the puppets were mostly just improvising. And so they went through and they counted each of the times that the puppets' mouths opened to write new dialogue to fit so that it didn't seem like it was horribly dubbed.
So messed up.
That's literally what happened. Isn't that crazy? They thought they could release a movie of just nonsense.
Such an insane story.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're novices. They're professionals. They've been doing it for a long time at this point. And they thought that was like going to sell? Like,
and then go back on it when the test screening doesn't work too. It's like if you're passionate about this idea, you stick to it.
Yeah.
You could have just added subtitles. Maybe.
Yeah.
That could have worked.
Subtitles, or just from the get-go have them speaking. I mean, what they planned to have the villains not speak a language that anyone could understand, and we're supposed to watch them for half the movie, that was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
How did they think
so
that
I'm glad they went this route, but they went like too far the other direction, because there's like lines all the time from Jin that just don't mean anything. Like clear ADR lines, his mouth isn't moving, where he just goes like, "Oh, that was cold."
I don't
like,
know.
Just random shit.
Well, apparently Jen was speaking English the whole time, so all of that was already written. It might just look like ADR because his puppet fucking sucks. And you can't even like the difference between his mouth opening and not being open is just insignificant. Like it's the least expressive puppet I've ever seen.
The ADR is the worst for the Skeksis. That scene where they're all eating food disgustingly. The ADR is almost like Cartoon Network levels of dubbing of like Japanese like anime stuff.
Yeah,
it's like nearly on that level.
I don't know. The ADR didn't bug me too much because it was, a movie. I was watching puppets the whole time, and I'm not really used to that as a film experience. So it didn't feel like so incredibly out of place. It doesn't really, as long as it's like somewhat consistent, then it's fine for me.
It doesn't ruin the film for me.
Yeah. Most of the movie didn't bother me either. It was just, there were clear points where I was like, what the fuck?
It's just noticeable.
You add that in later.
Yeah.
That doesn't really fit. We're being pretty hard on it, but there's so much about this movie that's great, and we should probably talk about that.
One thing that I think is pretty insane is how they didn't use CG or anything to edit out any of the puppeteers, and there's so many puppeteers on set, and you never see them once. Like it's all very convincing in terms of watching these characters move around. Like you never, well, I mean, because you know how the movie is made that there are people controlling it, but it's all done very well.
Yeah, it's very elaborate. There's a lot of different kinds of puppets. You got full body suits, and then you got like, just simple hand puppets and string puppets. And you got all kinds of shit. And it's really cool. It makes the world feel so alive to have such a variety of creatures and animals.
Very creative.
No one's gonna fault the technical aspects of this movie, because it's pretty perfect. Even the way it's shot. It's shot really well.
It's got loads of really memorable
cinematography's great.
Shots,
really well lit.
I love the effect when the original Skeksi emperor died and his face crumbled.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah,
that
was cool.
Super cool. That was probably my favorite part of the movie.
I was trying to wonder how they did that.
No,
I couldn't actually think of how to do it. Yeah, that's the thing. I love when the special effect is so flawless that you can't actually even consider how it was done, pulled off.
Yeah.
And it's all practical. Nowadays they just do that with CG.
Yeah, it'll just be the Happy Time murders.
Do you guys feel the movie would have been better if the two lead characters were just like people? just like actors, maybe like teenage actors, and then everyone else is puppets. Because I feel like I probably could have connected a little more with like a human running around in this world than like an emotionless puppet. Literally, the least emotion puppet is the main character. So.
I think it was more of an issue with the puppets and the voice acting for those characters. Like, I don't need them to be human beings to relate to them. You know, it would be just as easy to relate to a character that's, you know, some sort of puppet or whatever, as long as it's performed well, both with the actual puppeteering and the design of the puppet and the voice acting. But it just wasn't. Like, they were the most uninteresting, lame characters in the whole film. And you're supposed to relate to them. Yeah, but he's
such a lame puppet. Yeah.
It's so lame.
It's like, why wouldn't... It seems like they didn't have money for that puppet. Like, most of the time, it's just like a guy in a suit, and then he puts like a mask on that looks like Jin's face. Like, it's such a boring design. It's like, why didn't you just put like an actor there?
Yeah.
It probably would have been better.
I related more to the crab people than the main character.
Yeah.
Those things look cool.
Those things are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those were awesome.
Those were well designed.
I have no idea how they did those.
They looked like they could fit in like a Power Rangers episode, but they still looked really cool.
Yeah. I like those weird rabbit things on stilts. Really tall rabbit things.
Oh yeah, those things are fucking
creepy.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's got so much creativity in the designs.
I wasn't a huge fan of those stilt things because I could just very clearly tell where the stilts were versus where the whole body was. If it wasn't as skinny where the stilts are, if they added some more like layers to it, I guess, then it wouldn't have been as obvious. I don't know. Like, I never saw an animal there. I just saw somebody running in stilts.
That bit especially scared me as a kid because I thought the designs were so freaky.
Oh, yeah. It looks like something straight out of Silent Hill, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything does. Even the things that are supposed to be cute are, like, frightening. Like that ball dog thing that screams and jump scares you.
Yeah.
And then he gets thrown in a fucking fire pit at the end. He's still alive, but still, I was like, oh no! The whatever
he's the best character in the movie. He's the best character in the fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could easily see how this could be a childhood trauma movie, and it was.
But it was one of those ones I couldn't take my eyes off, just because it sparks the imagination, especially for younger people, because as an adult, didn't get as much out of this. But I think it's a perfect movie for young minds growing up, especially because of like fantasy and the puppets are just they're so creative, and it could really inspire a lot of kind of artistic exploration.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like something that you'd think would be aimed at kids at all. Like, it has a very dark and bleak tone and death and like,
it's scary.
Yeah,
it is actually scary down to the music and
there's
everything.
The fucking characters die in it.
Yeah. This won't hurt. We just want to drain your living essence. Like, okay.
Yeah, they're sucking like the souls out of people. It's fucked up. Anyone like 9 to 13, like, they would fucking love this.
Yeah.
If I saw it at that age, I would have loved it.
Yeah, I think so too. I just fucking hate Jen.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you really thinking about anything aside from the production. Like, you don't get attached to any story. It's not really saying anything. It's such a simple good versus evil story.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it never.
I don't think
keeps
there's
you
anything
guessing.
wrong with that either. I think it's
I
told
think
fairly well. It's just that's what it is.
It feels like you're watching someone reading a storybook to you that's kind of been that come to life. But the storybook just happens to be aimed for a younger audience because it is just super simple. So the most enjoyment you'll get out of it is the constant variation of, you know, the sets. Some of them are very impressive. There's that one in the, what's her name, Olga. Her sort of HQ has this super elaborate kind of device spinning around showing all the planets, and it's all practical, and that's very impressive to me, that section. And there are loads of really nice like matte paintings for the background. It's a very pretty movie. But yeah, it's hard to connect with anything when the characters are cardboard and plastic. They're just plastic and hair. Yeah, I was kind of let down by revisiting it, and based on my memory of it. I remember it being like, yeah, that was so epic, man. Like, that's high fantasy right there.
I think you guys are hard on it. I think it's still really good for what it is, and like the technical craft of it is fantastic, and the
Yeah,
story
I don't
is
deny
not
that at
great,
all.
and the characters are not great, but they're not. I wouldn't say they're bad. They're just these archetypes, like you know what they are. It's these classic characters, and it's this classic story just told again.
There's also, I
don't
mean,
think
there's
there's
also some really bad dialogue. You know, what's
Yeah,
writing?
there is.
Words that stay. Okay,
It's pretty corny.
it's very corny.
Yeah.
It's incredibly corny.
But I think that's intentional too.
I love how the exposition at the beginning, they literally just repeat information very quickly. They repeat the
Yeah.
only 10 and dying race lines. It's like, you just established that. Why'd you say that again?
There's a lot of lore they expect you to pick up on very quickly. And I was going to ask, is there like anything else is set in this world? This Dark Crystal world? I know they're making like a Netflix show.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
only thing
yeah.
is that Netflix show that's coming out.
But are there any books or like anything?
Not to my knowledge, because the film wasn't like a commercial success or anything, big time. The
I think
budget
it
was
did
15
well.
million. I mean, it budget of 50 million, grossed 40 million. So I suppose in the
Oops.
80s, that's a fair amount of money.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
not big enough of a hit though for it to be, everyone's childhood staple. It's still more of a weird, creepy one, just because the film is weird and creepy.
It's a
And-
cult movie.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah,
going to
for
have a
sure.
fan base for sure, because it's so unique too. Like, you can't get the experience of this film by watching anything else.
And yeah, I'm never bored while watching it. It's just how surface level everything is. Like I'm just looking for more now compared to what I was when I was like 10 and watched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the universe itself would, I think, lend itself very well to a better story. It would
Yeah,
be so much
no,
better
for
if
sure.
just the story was better and the main character didn't suck ass. I fucking hate him.
I would
Yeah.
like a story set in the villains, just about the villains, basically.
Yeah, a little
I
spin-off.
feel like they're the best part of
Yeah.
the movie.
like the Penguins
I would
movie.
like to see some political rivalry story going on with them.
Yeah, Penguins of Madagascar, except it's the Skeksis.
That's what I'd like to hear.
That would totally work.
One thing I did notice about it is that, and this might be a stretch, but it kept reminding me of The Legend of Zelda. It was kind of like a Legend of Zelda movie
Yeah,
to me.
me too.
Main character's like this little elf befriends like another elf thing that's like powerful. With the villain and the light and darkness thing and the MacGuffin that everyone kind of worships and everything like that. Just a weird thing I happened to notice.
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally see that too.
Here's a question. Does the dream fasting memory sharing include their most embarrassing and private moments?
It must do.
Because that would be a fun
Guessing.
cutaway.
They just didn't show us.
They didn't cover that bit.
That scene was really, that's probably the worst scene in the movie.
It's
They
kind of,
really
there's so
showed.
much
clumsy.
lame shit just involving the main character. I'm like, please get
It felt
back
like
to the
they were like
villains.
playing the
Fuck.
footage and the actors were like doing voiceover, just making it up as they went along during that. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sad.
When it's such a
I'm so
convenient
sad in this
way.
part.
It kind of skips over any development of the characters because they already know
Yeah.
each other so intimately that they never need to talk about anything
Yeah, I
or
guess
ask each other questions ever
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
That
you
is
never
kind of a
see them
shitty
build
excuse, isn't
chemistry
it?
or anything.
Yeah.
Wow,
It
I
is.
never thought of it in that way, but that's pretty much it.
That's why they're so uninteresting.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, you're supposed to be invested because they both know everything about each other now. We don't, really. A couple
Yeah.
of flashes ain't enough, I'm afraid.
I was kind of hoping at the end they would reveal that there's more of these things around of their species. Because otherwise, if it's just the two of them, like, I don't know.
Yeah, they sort of imply they've all been slaughtered. They can have incest babies, aren't they?
If they're going to continue their species, then their children are going to have to be incestuous.
I don't want to see that movie. I'm okay with
Yeah, me
this one.
neither.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's, but at the same time, the character designs and the sets and everything technical about it is so impressive, but it lacks character. It's kind of devoid of personality in a weird way because you just
I
have
think
no.
the characters lack character. I don't think the movie itself lacks a personality. I think the movie itself, with the world it created, is like very unique. It's just, these like people who inhabit it, a few of them, not even all of them, a few of them are just so dull. It's like, why are we following
Well,
That's
the main
protagonist,
characters.
Yeah, the main character. The main characters.
Yeah. So every cutaway away from them is way more interesting than when you're with the main character, which is,
and that could have been fixed with a better puppet or better written dynamic characters, or just replacing them with people. I think that would have worked. Because then you could have a scene where it's like two human beings actually communicate and talk about their tragic backstory instead of having to do this whole mind dream melding shit, which is so dumb.
You could still have other characters that don't have to do that. I think that the fact that there's no visible people in this movie really helps it feel unique. At the time, that was completely unheard of. Like, there was no movie of just puppets with no human beings in it. It was considered very risk-taking in that sense.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But do you think there was a scene that they could have shot with these two main character puppets, like, talking about their tragic past and, like, having chemistry somewhat? I don't see that being possible because the fucking puppets are just so bad.
Yeah,
with different puppets, it would be possible. Just those particular
I think
puppets
better
suck.
puppets or real human actors, either one would have worked.
Well, different voice actor.
Or different voice actors, that would have helped too.
Get rid of the main characters, replace them with interesting characters, and you have a much better movie.
Have you guys seen Labyrinth? Because that was kind of their follow-up after this movie.
Yeah, I saw it a while ago. I don't remember too much of it.
That one's more kid-friendly, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It has the human
kind of a
element.
musical.
It has humans in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of a musical, but it does have creepy puppets in it the same. That film also has scary-ass scenes in it that traumatized me as a child, but at the same time I still loved it. And David Bowie's got, like, he's wearing a really tight, like, codpiece for some reason in the movie, or he's just got a really big dong. Yeah. I think that film has more personality though than The Dark Crystal, honestly, just because of how wacky David Bowie's in it for a start, and I can't remember the name, but I think the characters are much better.
Jennifer
in
Connelly?
Labyrinth. Yeah, she's pretty bland. I mean, all the characters around. She's the, like, protagonist in that movie.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Oh yeah,
either.
me too. I only saw it once so long ago.
Yeah, that was another one I would, like, watch as a kid. I loved this kind of fantasy goober nonsense. But yeah, this doesn't really hold up for me anymore.
Well, I'll get back to you on Labyrinth, because I will watch that one day. Or Labyrinth.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Labyrinth.
It's Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
I was about to say Labyrinth.
What was the first
one
you said?
Some people say Labyrinth. I've heard people say Labyrinth, but
Labyrinth.
They're wrong.
Interesting.
Anyway, do you want to get to the rating of Dark Crystal?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because I give it out of 5.
Oh,
damn.
Which is a 3. That means 3.
okay.
That's the same that I gave it. Yeah, I thought it was just good.
Gave it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, we're the same.
So,
Yeah.
3. We're all in agreement. Is this the first time we all had the exact same rating?
Maybe.
No.
Probably not.
No,
I think
the
Barry
Stanley
Lyndon, we all
Kubrick
gave it a
movie.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the dog movie? I can't remember. So long ago.
Oh, yeah. Amoris Paris?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. We gave Madagascar 2 a 5. All of us.
I think I gave it much lower.
Anyway, questions?
Okay. Let's do some questions. If you want to leave your own questions for the Sardonicast crew to maybe answer, head over to the Sardonicast Reddit, and Ralph will put a thread there, and we'll probably attach some gimmick to it that makes choosing questions really hard, like this week's ones, because so many people left them backwards. So I have to go through these, like, backwards questions.
Sorry, I didn't ask them to do that.
Why did that happen?
Because I wrote ask your questions. I wrote that in reverse, and
Why'd
so
you do
everyone
that?
wrote their answers in reverse. Because it was fun.
Oh.
I told you every
funny.
week I do something fun on that thread.
Oh.
Last week was just not doing it, so you guys had to do it, and this week was doing it in reverse.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Well, besides that, I did find plenty of questions nonetheless. Let's have Kazelli89 start us off with, what's your opinion on dream sequences in film, and what are some of your favorites?
Oh, that's a good one.
I love me a good dream sequence, as long as it's not the reveal that the whole movie was a dream. I can't get down with that one.
Would you count Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like most of the movie? I guess that's more memories.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is
very
he
dreamlike.
Yeah, I would call that dream sequences.
Yeah,
That would be some of the best ones ever, right there. That's a good pick.
That's the first thing I think of.
Do the American Beauty sequences where Kevin Spacey's kind of imagining things count as a dream sequence?
Yeah.
Was that him dreaming or daydreaming?
Well, it's still like a dream sequence, and he actually does have a dream, doesn't he? At one point, I can't remember.
I don't remember. I haven't
He's
seen that.
Looking at the ceiling, and she's on the ceiling with the rose petals falling down. Yeah.
Yeah, I would count that one. The same way I would count like, fuck. I don't know. Would you count the train spotting when he's like,
oh yeah, his
rehabilitating from his heroin withdrawal?
When he goes in the toilet,
his withdrawal,
with the baby on the
fever
ceiling.
dream hallucinations. Yeah. Those were well done for sure.
I would count that.
Big Lebowski has an amazing one.
Yes, that's one of the best ones.
Out. Yeah,
one of the funniest ones. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Inception.
Yeah.
Of course. Just the whole movie.
Yeah.
Not very creative with its... I mean, that's the point, too, is that it's not very creative with its dreamscape. I wouldn't point to that as one of the best examples of, like, a dream, because it's really
I think
tame.
it was pretty creative. I think the concept for Inception
was pretty
too. Great.
When I watch a dream sequence, I want crazy shit, and Inception's very mannered, and, like, the craziest thing that happens is, like, there's a train in the street. Like, dreams are way weirder than that.
They bend the city on itself, don't they, in that movie? It's like the trailer shot.
Whatever. That happens every once in a while.
Waking Life by Richard Linklater. I don't think either of you have seen that though.
One.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a good recommendation.
Yeah, I think so. It's been on my list of things that I'll probably recommend at some point.
Cool.
Doesn't Brazil have some pretty good dream sequences?
Yeah, I would call Brazil. That pretty great.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, especially like the conclusion, which I'm not going to spoil. The only thing that I really don't like about dream sequences in films, especially horror movies, is when as soon as it's happening, I'm like, they're dreaming. They're dreaming. This isn't really happening. Fuck off.
Those ones suck. I agree with you.
It happens a lot in horror movies.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Oh no, the stakes are so high right now. No, they're not. You're asleep. Your friend didn't die. This was definitely not going to happen at this point in the film. Fuck off.
Scott Pilgrim? Do those count? When he's like in the Oblivion desert area talking to Ramona? Does that count as a dream sequence?
What do you guys think about them in general, though? Like, is it?
It depends.
I know we're just listing good ones.
Yeah, like what you said, when horror movies just fucking use it to trick you into feeling suspense, but it's not really happening. It's horseshit.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of movies that use it very effectively to show like what a character's inner desires are. Like, Eraserhead has a great one. It has like the lady in the radiator or whatever. That's one of the most memorable ones. Radiator.
Labyrinth.
I guess I say words differently.
Lubita.
It's like we're from different countries or something.
I think you're just saying them wrong.
No, I'm saying I'm right.
What was the
American way?
It's fine. It's fine. I'll conform. Anyway, what are some of your favorites? A few more.
I like the one in Rango. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah,
I love that one.
Yeah.
When talks to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great film.
I love that.
Oh, A Serious Man had a great one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Some great moments in that film.
I remember that one.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, Serious Man.
Here's a hint without really spoiling what happens in the scene. It's when the chalkboard, as he's teaching in class, it does a cut to a wide shot, and then you see it's like 30 feet tall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was a great dream sequence.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I think as long as they build character or are relevant and aren't just used as a cheap gimmick, like you said about the horror movies.
You learn more about the characters' insecurities too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can make it visual. That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
You can get creative because you don't have to work within the bounds of reality.
And you can get weird, and people will forgive you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, it's a dream.
It's like drug sequences in movies is another question like that. I find those really fascinating.
That's like the one area you're allowed to go all out. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
Like Train Spotting.
The more creative
Climax.
and trippy, the better.
Yeah.
Depends on the drugs.
Next one. Depends on the drugs.
Yeah.
Deadstone16 says, how many copyright strikes do each of you currently have? What's been your success rate since starting on YouTube?
Oh God. Can I count all of them right now?
Yeah, but how many do we have now, or how many have we gotten in the past?
It was how many copyright strikes do we each currently have, but also what's our success rate been since starting on YouTube?
Well, I've fought and won every
Adam
single
should go
copyright
first.
claim I've received. It's just a matter of, unfortunately, the way the system is designed, you can't fight all of them at once, or else you risk having your channel deleted. Because if all of them, like the Pokemon videos I did, like every single one of them got copyright claimed by ShowPro, and every single one of them they escalate the claim and say it's not valid, and then bring it to the point where there's a strike on my account and I have to send a counter notification. So I can't possibly send all of these appeals at once, because if I send 3 appeals at once, knowing that they're going to respond to each of those appeals with takedown notices, then I have 3 strikes on my channel, and then my channel gets deleted. So I have to deal with them basically one at a time and decide which ones are the biggest priorities at any given moment. So right now, like, I've been fighting those ShowPro ones for like 2 years now. So like the last 3 parts, the 3 most recent parts of my Pokemon videos are still not up, but they will be. Just give it some time. I'm fighting them. But yeah, it's really annoying. It's really annoying, and it's unfortunate. And yeah, I currently have strikes on my like the plays through channel, which is like the where I upload the full streams from my Twitch, and those are coming from parts of the soundtrack in a game called Trials Rising, which is a really fun motorbike game. But I guess they just, because the soundtrack isn't original, and they were just using other artists. You upload the video, it's like, oh, there's moments where you can hear just the soundtrack, and I guess I wasn't talking loud enough over it or something, and they claim it, and they're, you can send your dispute and be like, okay, well, I'm playing a game, and you can't possibly use my video as an alternative to purchasing the song. If anything, it advertises it. This is completely transformative, and they're like, nope, we're gonna strike on your account, and it just makes things more annoying. Because I can always fight it and win. It's insane. Just like, oh, well, this is going to take a long time and be really annoying. So
I think there's a bit of confusion in general around the difference between strikes and copyright claims. Because claims are way more prevalent, I find, than strikes are. But everyone kind of just calls, they join them together. So a strike kind of means both when people talk about it, like in Twitter replies and YouTube comments and stuff. I think the
claims are really the problem. It's not the strikes.
Yeah,
strikes
I
we all
claims.
barely get.
Yeah, I don't have any strikes now, but I have plenty of claims, most of which are dog ass. But I'm scared to appeal some of them because A, you have to give them your personal information, which sucks, and B, they just ignore it. So, and then when they finally get around on that, when their time is up to doing it, they just claim it again. We'll go into the second part, and then things get more serious, and it's just like, ugh, thanks, guys. For 2 seconds of my hour-long video, you get all of that, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
so
really annoying.
It's very annoying. It's mostly inconvenient. At the end of the day, we usually win them, because at the end of the day, what we're doing isn't illegal. But it's just a lot of waiting around, a lot of copy and pasting the same email again. I usually try to find... I email YouTube to tell me who... Like, give me the email of the person who put the copyright strike on this thing, or the claim on it. And I email them directly. That's usually what I do. And that usually gets things sorted out quick.
Yeah, it
most
depends.
of the time it's just... It's just a slog. It's just a lot of waiting for fucking people to either release the claim because they know it's fine, or they have to at some point. Because they realize what they're doing is wrong and illegal.
And the worst ones are the ones where it tells you when a claim has been manually done by like a team of people who work for a company.
And it doesn't tell you the time code. There have been people who copyright claim my videos and say they have a song in it when they don't. And I go and they don't put a time code either. So I just like, where the fuck is this song? And it's not even in the video. Yeah. And it gets removed later.
No.
It's a total waste of time.
It would be great if YouTube had some kind of option where if you do get a few seconds of your video claimed, if you could cut it out or something, and then the claim's removed.
You can do that if it's actually... There's also a system that auto-detects music and will mute it. Well, you can choose to mute it, or you can choose to have it monetized, but they take the ad revenue, whoever wrote the song. That option is there. The issue is when artists just manually claim these things with no time code or anything. They just say, my song is in this video. And it isn't. It's just annoying.
Yeah, some claimants are more respectful than others because unfortunately the system's set up in a way where with most of them being automatic, they just have their system set up in a way and it's all controlled on the claimant's end where all of these content managers and studios are saying, okay, well, yeah, let's just claim it. And then maybe if they fight it, maybe we'll release it. But the automatic assumption is that they own your video when nobody has reviewed it at all. And unfortunately, the system is set up in a way where it's really easy for people to abuse it because most people don't know their rights and most people are scared to fight claims. And so that creates a huge incentive for companies to just try to monetize every single video that exists, being like, okay, well, if I claim ownership over 100 different videos and only 20% of them fight back, then we're making 80% of the video's revenue, right? Or the different videos.
That's exactly
that
what
exist.
they do.
So there's a financial incentive for companies to abuse the system, which is just the worst part about it. Like that's why it is the way it is right now.
Copyright's very complicated, and these companies have tons of money too. So it's a very daunting task to think you could take them on. But if you're doing the right thing, then there should be no trouble. And I've had very little trouble over the years with that.
Well, it's going to get worse in the UK soon.
Or fucking anything like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've lost out on some money because of bullshit demonetization, but whatever.
Yeah, my entire Old Boy review wasn't monetized until after it had 1 million views, unfortunately.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's worked 5 months on it.
No.
Oops. Yeah, that was lame.
Those are always the ones that get claimed.
Yeah. It got claims from both the old movie and the new movie. The old movie released it right away. The new movie just fucking didn't respond for a month.
Oh,
Wait,
of course.
wanted it down.
Spike Lee! God damn it. A while back, I made a review on the company called Asylum Films, talking about how all of their movies are just ripoffs of other movies. Yeah. And the way that they responded to the copyright claim on my video, I actually called them. I called them at the studio, and the fucking lady at receptionist was arguing with me. First of all, I don't understand how you think you represent this company, just being the person that answers the phone there. You're clearly not the content manager. She was trying to chew me out. Yeah, well, you use clips from the movies, so we own it. I'm like, what the fuck? It was so weird, especially because it's the Asylum, and their catalog is movies like
irony.
Transmorphers. You're fucking calling me out on copyright shit? Come on, I know my rights.
No.
You're being a dick.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That sucked, but I eventually got it taken care of, obviously. Ugh.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they always back down. So that's why it's never been an issue. It's hard, and it takes time, and it's a pain in the ass, but they always back down.
Because at a certain point, in order to continue blocking your video, they need to provide YouTube with proof that they're actually suing you, which most companies are not going to do, because that would be very bad PR.
They're not going to bother.
Because, worst case scenario, it's
very bad
they're
PR
going to sue
and
you.
It's so much hassle.
You'd probably get enough donations from people that sympathize with you on the internet to cover your legal fees anyway, right? If you're in the right here, and they're just trying to censor what you have to say, so.
Well, there's that H3 trial with that other guy who tried to sue him for using his video.
That was
Bold
funny.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
That was funny. But that case really did set a precedent. And I think a lot of companies will look toward that one if they ever have legal trouble with one of these YouTubers like us.
Yeah.
And just go, oh, okay, it's not worth it. Let's fuck off.
Yeah, didn't Channel Criswell have some issue for using 2001 Space Odyssey footage? In the UK, weird. He was being threatened.
Yeah, there's many ins and outs to that I am not at liberty to discuss publicly, but it's taken care of, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more complicated than you think it is.
I bet. Well, Canada's laws on copyright are way more relaxed than the US. And I think the U.S. is more relaxed than Europe or anywhere in Europe.
It depends.
So.
It depends what you're talking about.
You guys, that Nirvana the band, the show, they have a lot of parody content that they apparently don't have to ask permission for. But if you were to do that in America, I think it would be different.
No, that is
Like,
less
you would
to
have to ask
do with
permission.
how the laws are written, and that is more to do with individuals like Matt Johnson trying to set a precedent, right? Like he understands that you can make an argument for fair use in the way that it's being done. Like you don't have to cover every single label in your movie. You know, like if you show like a Dasani water bottle, like it's if I'm like drinking a Coke Zero in one of my videos, you know, like you don't have to cover that up. And I get that that's kind of different because it's trademark. But in terms of copyright and fair use, the idea is that now, especially with the internet and how media is becoming so transformative and everything's kind of like a remix culture, the idea is you have to be the change that you want to see. There is no fair use that exists outside of case law, basically. So initially you have like Lens versus Universal Music Corporation, where they had a YouTube video of their baby dancing to a Prince song, but like the audio sucked and you could hear like a vacuum, and like the video was to show the baby, right? And they struck down the video, and then Lens sued Universal Music Corp, and that wound up setting a good precedent where, okay, legally you have to be sure that you have the rights to the content and that it's not fair use if you want to strike down other people's videos. And now that obviously doesn't get applied everywhere, because people are still doing it and companies know they can get away with it because, you know, the average person isn't going to sue for having their video removed. But, you know, there's countless examples, especially in American fair use law, of individual cases that wind up basically defining the law just by those cases existing, you know? And so that's kind of what Matt Johnson is doing in a sense, where like, okay, are you really going to sue me just for using this song in this way where it's obviously a parody? You know, like, are you really going to do that? And if it winds up going to court, then maybe we can set a precedent.
Yeah. I think if he did that in the U.S. on a major television network, he would get sued immediately.
Well,
which is why I think
the show was
a different thing.
in the U.S. on Viceland. It's a show made in Canada, but the network is American, so it is technically a U.S. show in a way when it comes to like copyright and fair use. So
that's all I was thinking watching it, because I started watching it recently, like the last month, and I think it's great. But there's so much like stuff like that, copyright content. I was curious how it all worked.
Well, it's just the reason why you don't see a lot of that is because most people don't have the balls to do it. You know, like the film, the lawyer working for Nirvana the band, the show, is the same one that was hired for Escape from Tomorrow.
Oh, no,
the one that was filmed.
That's great.
Yeah, so they got in touch after they met at a film festival. I think probably at Sundance or something. Oh yeah, because Matt Johnson's 2013 movie The Dirties was screening at the same festival as Escape from Tomorrow, and I think that's how they got in touch. If anybody who's listening, Escape from Tomorrow is a movie that was filmed entirely in Disneyland without their permission.
And it makes Disneyland look like the worst fucking place on earth.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It is pretty funny. It's not a great movie. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it, but it's fun just for that concept. Just to see them fuck around with Disney like that.
In terms of like fair use and copyright, you have to be the change you want to see. Like, don't go out of your way and do something very obviously illegal. It's like, you know, you're probably not going to have a good time if you're trying to claim fair use of uploading the entirety of a movie with zero commentary. But if you truly believe that what you're doing is transformative and does not serve as a replacement for the original market, I say just fucking do it. Like, we need more case law. If this shit goes to court, like, and it's very clearly transformative, you'll have the entire internet behind you. You know, people will pay your legal fees because everybody wants more freedom in our art forms and what we can do with art. And the more of these court cases that we have that support that, the better. Like, already there's a fair amount where it's like, okay, transformative use of art is a good thing and we should be allowed to do it.
Yeah, also fair use is a very loose term, and it applies to a lot. Like we have some stipulations as to what fair use is, like written down, but like the only way to tell with some of this shit is to just have a trial over it.
Yeah.
Because that's how it gets decided, and that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, that's how it gets decided. It is a good thing. So you're right about that.
When fair use law was being written, it was specifically written in a way that acknowledged that they don't understand what media is going to look like in 10 years from now.
Yeah.
They didn't it had to be with enough leniency, and that's why there is no set amount. It never says like more than 30 seconds. Technically, by fair use law, you can upload the entire movie. Like, you can do that as long as you believe, or you can make a reasonable argument that the entire film being uploaded is absolutely necessary to make your own transformative version of it, to make your own case that it was necessary for the commentary or criticism or whatever you're doing with it, right? In most cases, that would be ridiculous.
Length doesn't matter at all.
Which is why, the Adum and Pal's commentaries that I upload on my channel, I make sure that there's no dead air. I'm not unnecessarily putting clips of the film in that don't add to the jokes or the context of the jokes. Everything that's in there is necessary to be able to make the comedy criticism aspect of it.
Yeah.
Whereas uploading the entire movie would be superfluous.
You could use 2 seconds of a copyrighted song in a non-fair use way, or what would be considered non-fair use, and you get sued over that. That's illegal.
Yeah,
it's just the way copyright law is just so weird.
Technically, you can't say that it would be illegal or not illegal. And even if there were no direct commentary and criticism on something like that, if the usage is so small, there's actually something called, I think, minuscule, or it might be incidental fair use. There's different types of fair use.
Insignificant. Yeah, incidental.
And so,
but you could still, you can't just go, I'm going to use 5 seconds of a song and it's okay in my movie, because you can't. Well, if you were to do that, that's not.
It depends. It depends how insignificant it is. If you had a
reason and you transformed it, sure.
There's an argument to be made. You can't just say that that's not possible, because by how fair use is written, that technically is possible. And I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, definitely 100% or definitely 0%, because it is vaguely written enough that it does allow for that, and you could make a case for it. You just have to have a good lawyer and argue it, and know that what you're doing is not really taking away from the original market at all. I think the minuscule defense was used in David Fincher's Seven. During the opening sequence of the film, there were photographs that he did not have the permission to use in the film, and there was no like commentary or criticism to be taking place about these photographs, and they weren't absolutely necessary for the film, but it wound up winning in court because it was so insignificant to try and claim any sort of damage or ownership over them being used.
Yeah.
You have to think about it from the perspective of like, okay, if you're suing for damages, what damages are you reasonably suing for? How can you claim that you lost revenue, or that somebody is taking revenue from you by using these in that way? So there's a lot that is possible, and that's the best part about fair use, is that it's
very complex.
There are very few hard limitations on what you can do, and it is complex, but I think it's complex.
I'm just saying,
for
length
the better
doesn't
and not
matter.
for the worse.
Length doesn't matter.
Size doesn't matter. Quote Ralph.
There was a poster. There was a poster that was copyrighted, and they wanted to use it in a movie, so they just like spray painted a cross on it, and that made it transformative.
You're talking about the Hills Have Eyes,
just
right?
That. Yeah, something like that. But
where they had like
was enough to
they
make it
had the Jaws poster ripped in half in the background, so it's like the commentary being made was like, oh yeah, you thought Jaws was cool, well the Hills Have Eyes is even better. And then in Evil Dead they did the same thing, where they took the Hills Have Eyes poster and ripped it in half and had it on the wall. Yeah, it's kind of like a nod, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's.
But that's the thing though, is like, if you think that what you're doing is so insignificant that they're not going to sue you over it anyway, like that's the goal. That's winning in a sense. Where it's like, oh, you're not going to sue me over that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Sorry about my little rant.
Yeah.
No, you know a lot about it.
There'd be
it's
lots
good.
to say.
You gave a whole talk, right? It was like an hour-long talk about copyright at some place.
Yeah, that was at RTX. The video's on my vlog channel for anybody that wants to watch it. All right.
Next question.
Epic. I have one here that is let me just read it. Lutan T. Oh, I'm sorry, these names, they're so bizarre. Hey boys, what are your thoughts on the human caterpillar? Do you believe it's necessary and meaningful, or just gross for the sake of being gross?
You mean the human centipede? Is that what they were trying to talk about?
Human caterpillar?
It obviously means a human centipede, but
Unless there's something else going on.
I double took when I read it. Yeah, I want to see that movie more than I want to rewatch the Human Centipede movies. To be fair,
I've never seen the Human Centipede, any of them.
Oh, you haven't?
Really?
Because you were shit talking.
No, they
them.
look like shit.
No, oh my god! Because you were. I thought you would watch them and hated them because you were shit talking them in an earlier episode. I remember.
I'd seen parts of like the actual Human Centipede part where they're fucking sewing each other's mouths. I saw some of that. It's disgusting.
See, I think that the first film is a good kind of guilty pleasure for me. The second film is actually so over the top and so self-aware that I kind of love it. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's like there's memorable moments from that movie that will always stay with me. Like it's the goal is to be provocative and extreme and gross and get a reaction out of you. And I feel like the second Human Centipede film does a much better job at that than something like a Serbian film, which I just found to be mostly boring. The third Human Centipede was pretty bad. it was like not even entertaining.
I can't remember anything.
The second
about
one
it.
is pretty great in my opinion. Like it's enjoyable. It's not like a technically great film in terms of like filmmaking qualities, but it's really fun. Alex?
The last time I watched the second one, it pissed me off so much.
Oh yeah.
When did that film come out? I can't remember how old I would have been. Maybe 18 or so. That's the last time I would have seen it, and I remember it just being. Instead of me liking it because of how provocative it was, it seemed like it was kind of being edgy just for the sake of being edgy. And it was actually didn't really have anything to say. It was just kind of like, come on, man.
Oh man.
And the first one as well, it's so stupid. The only reason it exists is because of how just out there the title is. As soon as you hear the title, then everyone's like, "Well, that's so gross. I don't want to watch that movie, but I kind of do want to see it because it sounds so crazy."
Yeah,
and it doesn't really live up to its name.
It's a movie that kind of was one of those early meme movies, something that got so much hype just because it looked so ridiculous, like Snakes on a Plane. Like that was a really early meme
exactly
movie.
like that. Yeah.
But I think that they're not great. Like there's a lot of bad acting and stuff, but I find them pretty entertaining. The second one especially. The first one has some boring bits that are made up for by terrible acting, which is entertaining to me. But I don't know. I'll have to see them again.
To rewatch them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the second one's a bottom rated movies number 87 on IMDb.
Really?
That's surprising. With a 3.8, which seems
when
like
you have scenes like what happens towards the end, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's kind of the film loves being hated though.
Yeah,
that's what it likes so much.
Exactly,
because it stirs controversy and people.
It's like a Von Trier movie.
Yeah,
might as well be.
Yeah,
just less artistically creative, I guess.
Let's do one from Boo Bar, who says, "Can you think of the worst possible sequel to your favorite movie?"
Godfather 3.
It's called The Lion King 2, and it already exists.
I do.
It's not my favorite movie.
Do one that doesn't exist.
The Holy Mountain 2.
How could you even possibly start doing that? Where would you even begin?
Under the Skin 2?
No,
that would
bad.
be a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much for me to be able to say about this question because it's like, yep, there's unnecessary sequels that exist. I don't know how I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Like when you say worst possible, that means that like there would be such a thing as a good version. I don't know. Like when you say worst possible sequel to like The Holy Mountain,
well, what's
I don't know
your
what
answer,
I'm supposed
Alex,
to say
for worst possible sequel.
For me, we mentioned The Big Lebowski earlier. There's a little string they leave in that movie that you can imagine a sequel to, because the pregnant, he has a son or daughter, a baby, basically.
And they would make a sequel with him.
Can you imagine like a Son of the Mask type sequel with the Big Lebowski's like kid, and they call it like the Kid Lebowski or something? Can you you can imagine the poster right now, like one of those, not even Adam Sandler, like Adam Sandler's D tier like Friend type movie. That's what I picture in my head, and I can just imagine how. It's just such
Sounds
a bad
like a
idea.
joke now, but they'll probably do it in 10 years. Just give them some time.
Well, the dude on Twitter was teasing something before the Super Bowl that was Big Lebowski related. So I was like, oh no, they're not doing it, are they? They're not making a sequel. Surely not. But it just turned out to be like an advert, one of the Super Bowl ads. So that was a sigh of relief. Although John Turturro apparently is making a movie about his character from The Big Lebowski that's
like
coming out this year.
Oh my God.
Like a spin-off that has nothing to do with the Coen brothers. So, I mean, that could be an answer that comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Citizen Kane 2. This time it's personal.
There's some examples of like films that got sequels that where the names actually make no sense.
Oh yeah.
Where like the title of the film is like, why can't I think of one right now? Something that implies that it's the end. So like, I don't know, The Last of Us 2. things kind of.
I'm gonna look up worst sequel titles.
Titanic 2.
Yeah, things that actually make no sense.
Well, there's Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah,
that's
we mentioned that last episode.
And I've never seen that one.
The best one.
Titanic 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I can say about this question, really. It's like I'm not gonna
Piranha 3 Double D. I like that title.
I'm not gonna try to write a script for the Holy Mountain 2 in my head. Like what would happen?
You should do that and read your script on Sardonicast for us to review.
Yeah, I'll do that. It actually just gets funded. A producer shows interest. It gets made.
How about the Die Hard sequels? Because those all have like really awful titles.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty bad. I actually like 3 and 4.
I like 1 and 3.
I like 2 a lot.
2 was boring. I didn't like 4 at all.
4 is stupid as fuck. It's better than 5 though.
Yeah, that's
what are
not
the
saying
names
much.
I turn into? Die Hard, Dying Harder,
Die Hardest.
Yeah.
Du hast mich.
Die Hard 2, Die Harder, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Did you see the
Live
one with
Free or Die Hard?
What's he called? Jai Courtney in it? Did you see
Yeah,
that one?
A Good Day to Die Hard. That one is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen.
But then there was another one after that one, wasn't there? A Good Day to Die Hard.
No, that was it. That was the one with Jai Courtney.
Oh, was it?
The one
was
before it
they
was
did,
Live
right?
Free or Die Hard. That was with Justin
Oh my god,
Long.
my brain is actually melting. Like I've heard the word Die Hard so many times in the last few minutes, like I just can't keep track anymore.
You know, Bruce Willis is still in like these straight-to-DVD movies. I watched some of them. They're so bad, but it's hilarious because he's only on set for like one day.
Nice.
And they have to like make these scenes work. You could tell they're all shot in one day. He's usually in like one room the whole movie.
Has he cared about single film in the last decade, that man?
No, I think the last one he cared about was Moonrise Kingdom, maybe? Looper? That's it, though.
I don't know.
He's funny. He's just counting his money.
Yeah, he doesn't really try anymore.
Okay, let's move on to one from Freddy the Beast. Are there any examples of supposed holes in great directors' filmmaking that you think exist? For example, the idea that Chris Nolan supposedly can't film a fight scene. Anything like that pop into your mind?
Huh.
Wow, way to go after Chris Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like spectacular in terms of a fight scene from Christopher Nolan, other than maybe like how creative some of them were in Inception, where they were, you know, flying around. Like that was well
fucking
done.
amazing.
Yeah, like that was
That
really
one's
well
very
done.
good.
But
that's one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
so
it was really creative
I
and
disagree
cool.
with that one.
I'm just trying
The
to
only
think about
bad ones are in Batman Begins.
Yeah,
They're actually bad in that movie. But
Yeah.
aside from that, I mean, I think it's mostly fine. He doesn't really do them that often.
Mm-hmm.
Like fist
I think the
fights.
one Batman vs. Bane was pretty good, except not the one at the end, the one in the middle. I just thought the sound design was kind of over the top, but that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight.
to answer the question, I'd actually answer the same director, but for a different reason. I have a major issue with the way he writes dialogue with his brother.
I agree.
I think it was after The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight was the last one where it wasn't like insanely noticeable that whenever characters talk, they're just like these tools that don't really have any personality, and they're just there to explain the plot and move it along. It's really bad in Interstellar.
Yeah, that's one. Dark Knight Rises.
And of course, Dark Knight Rises.
That's really his weakness, is like dialogue writing and character writing.
Yeah.
Unless it's based on a previously existing character. He doesn't know what to do.
It seems like he's
with people.
Not really interested in it. He's like so interested in the scope and scale of everything that they're just like something he has to have in there because you have to have characters. So
he treats a lot of characters like they're just props to move the story along. That's my biggest issue with him. That's why I love Dunkirk, is because he doesn't even pretend to give them characters. He's like, these are just people, and you're gonna watch them fucking run around.
It makes his movies feel
like
quite cold and sort of detached when you just they don't feel like people. That's my issue. It doesn't feel natural. That's my issue with Nolan.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how great of a director we're talking here in terms of answering this question. I mean, Quentin Tarantino's got some flaws, I guess. There's some times where I feel like his films are more trying to be what the audience expects of him than him just being organic. I get that impression sometimes. At this point, anyway. Like, it used to be super organic. But with films like, even points in Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained, it just felt like, oh, this is what people want because they're watching a Quentin Tarantino movie. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
I agree with that too.
No,
Always devolves into a shootout.
I think he has another issue too, where not in every film, but in some of them, every character kind of feels like Quentin Tarantino. They all kind of speak in a similar way, and I don't know. There's just a style of writing, and I think the worst one is Death Proof for that. Personally,
we need to talk about that movie at some point.
Yeah, we do.
We really do.
Which movie? Sorry, you got cut off.
Death Proof.
Death Proof? Oh, yeah, Death Proof is really bad.
I think that's the worst case of it. I think that's the worst case of that issue.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm interested.
Yeah, same.
We'll do it.
We'll see. Yeah, I was going to say Wes Anderson and the dialogue. I'm getting kind of sick of his stilted dialogue that all sounds like it's written by him. But I'm in a minority on that, so.
So we basically all have the same type of issue with all of those three directors, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their directing's great, but sometimes their writing is not as great as their directing.
Exactly.
I mean, Quentin Tarantino is a great writer, too, but...
Yeah, Tarantino I don't have that issue with. With him, it just always kind of boils down to the same thing. It's like no matter how clever the script was, it ends with the characters in a room and they all have guns and they all shoot each other.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Quentin, why don't you think of another resolution?
Most of the directors I consider to be really great don't have a lot of flaws in terms of how they present their films.
Yeah, the extremely great ones. Like Kubrick, I can't think of fucking anything.
Like M. Night.
Yeah.
Flawless.
The modern day
Flawless.
Kubrick.
Yeah.
Oof. I think I've got a couple left here. Scat Autotune 7103 says, has a film ever frustrated you so much that it bothered you for days, specifically because of the immense talent behind it?
Frustrated me in that it's bad? Because there's like great movies that have frustrated me.
It doesn't say bad, so it just means any movie that's frustrated you.
That's a weird question. Degree. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Yeah. Well, in terms of like a bad movie, Identity Thief is always one I think of like being really frustrating.
So that's what pops into your head and instantly.
Yeah, that goes right to my head.
Of when you think about a frustrating movie that pissed you off.
Well, because it's a comedy with a character who's not funny at all about a subject matter that's not funny. And it's like trying to present her as like this good person. That's really what I find just obnoxious about it.
No, that
no one gives a fuck about Identity Thief. It's fine. Maybe I'll recommend that one day.
Please don't. I would say Interstellar. We just mentioned it, but
Yeah.
that film is so excellent in basically everything presentation-wise. But it's films like that I find the most frustrating, where there's so many positives about it. Even things like The Dark Crystal are kind of frustrating in that sense, where you want to like it so much more because there is so much to appreciate, but the kind of core molten lava center of it is so flawed that it kind of makes the movie compound on itself.
It's true love.
Mm-hmm. By that point, you're
Well,
just
if
like,
we're going to talk
what's this
frustrating
movie now?
like that, I'd say Us is a good answer, too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that is also basically every movie we've talked about in this episode.
This is like the frustration episode.
Yeah.
Lost potential episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could say the same thing about The Congress, starring Robin Wright, which you probably haven't seen, but it's definitely worth watching.
No.
There's so much cool stuff about it, but there's also so much lacking. I put it at the very bottom of my 2014 list or something, 2013 list. I think it probably should have been in the guilty pleasures section, but it's just. It's weird to describe. Like it's so incredibly creative, but there's some things that just don't work that well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to watch that one day. I love Robin Wright.
Should we do one more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Let's do this one from Ashbury Street. I'd be interested to hear y'all's opinions on cult classic movies, ones that were met with mixed response on release but have huge fan bases now. Donnie Darko and The Big Lebowski come to mind. People might suggest others. Thanks.
The Dark Crystal.
I think Under the Silver Lake, Dark Crystal, Under the Silver Lake is bound for that kind of reputation.
Yeah, I was thinking that when it came up earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is one of those. Like, people will love it. Like, it'll have a solid fan base, but not everyone is going to feel that way about it.
Yeah, people are already taking footage from the movie and reversing it, trying to find hidden meanings in
There's
it.
a subreddit.
It's pretty funny.
There's a subreddit.
Yeah,
for
there's
it.
a whole subreddit. They're going to real locations and scouting them out.
Yeah. It really depends
It's
on the
cool.
movie. There's some cult things that just don't connect with me that much, that almost feel like people who love it are just blinded by nostalgia or something. I don't know, like Tank Girl, I thought wasn't great.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently people love it, but it's also based on a comic book or something that might have something to do with it.
Does Blade Runner count as a cult movie?
Yeah.
It kind of does.
Yeah, I would
It kind of
say
fits
so.
in that same conversation. Kind of weird, out there science fiction.
I'd say Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love that one.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a cult movie?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I would too, but I fucking love that
I would
one.
even say shit like Birdemic and The Room count
Yeah,
in
in terms of so bad they're good movies,
Yeah.
cult classics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong fan base, but
Troll
not
2.
necessarily, a gigantic blockbuster.
Yeah.
Will be remembered
Although now The
until
Room's
the end of time.
mainstream.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau is a
The
mainstream
Room is.
star. He's on talk shows and the award shows.
Yeah.
And he's still doing stuff, isn't he?
Can't even
He's
call him
something.
cult anymore.
No.
Did you see the trailer for his new Shark Attack movie or whatever it's called?
Nope.
I
I don't
refuse
give
to
a
watch
fuck
it.
what he's doing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's no Neil Breen.
Is it
Well,
worth watching?
Exactly. He's not as good as Neil Breen. You saw his new movie. You know it sucks. His best friends. Is that it?
Yeah, well, he
Or
didn't
was there
direct
some,
that.
There's some other one he's in too. I think. Yeah, he's just in it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how his Shark Attack or whatever it's called is. It just doesn't work as well when he's trying to be funny.
Yeah, when they try to be part of the
Yeah.
joke.
It's not
They don't
genuine
really understand
anymore.
what made them funny. Yeah.
Which is why Neil
Sure.
Breen is a god. Continue buying his films.
I still gotta see his new one.
It's great.
Is it out on DVD yet?
Yes.
Can I request it from his website?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do that.
And hope that he doesn't refund you without telling you. Because he had it listed on his website as having two different options. One being NTSC North America and Canada, and then PAL for international with different shipping. But then I ordered mine, the NTSC North America and Canada, And then I guess he changed his website and moved Canada into the international PAL one, but we don't use PAL. And so he refunded me without telling me, and I had to send him a message like, "Hey, I'll pay for the international shipping if the shipping's more, but can you send me an NTSC DVD instead?" He's like, "Okay, I still don't have it. We'll see when it shows up. It might take a while." It's always a bit of a challenge trying to buy one of his films. It's part of the experience.
Oh, Tremors is a good one for like films like that.
Oh yeah,
A cult classic sort of movie.
Tremors is good.
Yeah, I mean, cult classic movies exist. Some of them will connect with you more than others. A lot of people really love Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think it's fine. I can understand why people love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Evil Dead movies a lot.
Yep.
Those are so much fun to me.
John Carpenter movies, like They Live and The Thing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're a great example. I mean, actually, honestly, a lot of the films we've talked about and recommended on this very podcast, a lot of them are kind of culty movies, like The Holy Mountain, I think, is one of these cult movies as well.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Depends what your tastes are. And not every cult movie is the same, so it's kind of difficult to answer that question with like an umbrella over all of them.
We gave him
I like
plenty,
Donnie Darko.
so you got your homework now.
I haven't seen it since I was like 15 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that film hold up? I haven't
don't
seen
know.
it since, I think I was
it was like my
a similar
favorite
age.
movie
I've seen
ever
it
when I was
recently.
13.
It's pretty good still. I
Yeah?
think there's issues, but I think it's still pretty good.
Oh, cool. Right, that's all the questions I have.
Nice.
Cool.
Good job, Alex. Good
Bada
selection.
bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I think I've got a movie to recommend.
It is your
I
turn.
think it's my turn. This is a film that since the beginning of the podcast, I knew that we had to have a discussion on at some point. And I feel
Okay.
like now's the time. And it's a Criterion
Right.
movie directed by Chantal Akerman, if that's how I pronounce her name. The full title... I guess I'll give you the first part of the title. It's Jeanne Dielman, Jeanne space Dielman. Full title: 23 quai du commerce, 1080 Bruxelles. And so
Holy fuck.
it's like
What?
yeah. And I'm not gonna say much about it. It's a Criterion movie directed by...
You're scaring me.
Yeah. It will provoke a discussion. It's a long film. It's almost 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
And
cool.
I'm not going to tell you anything about it or what to think about it, but I hope that we get an interesting discussion from this film.
Okay, I've already forgotten the title.
I'll send you the IMDb link.
Yeah.
Yeah, send us that.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah. I'm gonna have a
Okay,
hard time
hype.
finding it.
Yeah, I hope I can find it nice and easy.
Oh, I got the Criterion Blu-ray. I'm sure it'll be available somewhere. It's probably on.
Say it one
iTunes
more
or
time for the
something.
listeners, in case they want to look up.
Jeanne Dielman, and then 23, which I just said in French before. Quai du commerce, so QUAI space DU space COMMERCE. 1080 Bruxelles.
Oh, I found it. I found
yeah,
it.
you found it. Okay. Yeah. It'll certainly provoke some interesting discussion. And I'm very excited.
Okay.
I'm very excited to talk about this movie with the two of you.
Mm-hmm. All right, I will get right on that.
Awesome.
Should I get it on Blu-ray?
If you want, that's probably the best way to watch it.
Probably is.
Yeah. I've got the Blu-ray. All right.
Cool.
So that's the recommendation for
Awesome.
next episode. If you don't want to be spoiled for it, check it out before the next episode. If you want to support the show, $2 a month on Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. You'll hear these episodes early. Also, $2 a month on Patreon.com/Sardonicast. We'll do the same thing. Is our merch link working?
It should be up on YouTube now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
it
checked.
has
It
YouTube.
looks good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it has YouTube integration. So if you're on YouTube, you can look under. I'll find some kind of link, but if you want to find it, head over to the YouTube channel, and it's under like every video. So
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining on our discussion of the dark crystal, aka methamphetamine, and we'll see you guys next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you.
thanks for listening.
Thank you guys.
Happy April Fool's Day.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye bye.